Paul Harrell, weekdays from 4 to 6. Learn more at paulharrell.com.
Folks, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for being with us. Hour number 2, and my name is Paul, and we are here at the intersection of conservative ideas and reality. We're building a liberty machine. We want you to be a part of that machine. And you know what this sound means? This has new meaning to me now. That means it's time for our Conservative Future segment, but that actually has new meaning to me now because of the story that we played for you last week about how TBS edited out the word terrorists and stuff like that from Back to the Future. Anyway, it's just, it's funny. I don't think I can ever forget that. Hey, joining us now, welcome for our Conservative Future segment. We got Mr. Michael Banks is on the line. Michael, welcome to the Paul Harrell program, sir.
Hey, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to get your information. And let's just kind of start. First of all, where are you from? Where are you calling from right now?
I am from Conway. I live in Conway, so that's where I am currently.
Okay, you're from Conway. You live in Conway. So, you.
Well, actually, I'm originally from Hope, Arkansas.
Okay, originally from Hope.
Exactly.
Okay. So, what made you a conservative? I mean, you identify with that label like conservative. So, like, how did you become? You're 29 years old, I'm told. So, how did you get conservative opinions?
I have a multitude of reasons. I like the saying, give a person a fish, they'll eat for a day. Teach a person how to fish, and they'll eat for a lifetime. So to answer your question, I have the desire to liberate people. That's why I have a conservative point of view.
Wow.
You don't have to study history very much to know that liberalism severely restricts liberty. Being a conservative is my only option.
I like that, Michael, especially like you have a desire to liberate people. And, I mean, that is a very offensive way of putting what limited government is actually all about. I can quote people like Benjamin Franklin, right, where they say, hey,
sure, people
need to be made uncomfortable in their poverty, in order for them to have motivation to get themselves out. But that statement today, for those on the left, you want to make that is so, they even think it's immoral. But when you define it as essentially, no, it's a desire to liberate, meaning, look, go out and create this stuff for yourself. First of all, you're going to be better off, and you're going to be, it's a lot more fulfilling than taking a government check. What are your thoughts?
I agree. Poverty is a good motivator. I don't think that, if a government program was giving Steve Jobs a $65,000 a year salary to watch TV, we probably wouldn't have Apple as we do today. And that probably holds true for Amazon that was started in a guy's garage. And, you could go down the list. Walmart. I don't think Sam Walton has a college degree, or did. So they had no other option but to make a name for themselves and work hard.
So
yeah.
Were your parents, did they raise you conservative? And when I say, define that for me, I mean, what do you think that is? Because a lot of people, they immediately go to social issues, which is fine. You didn't, though. You went right towards the economic argument of a government program is actually making the problem worse. I mean, that's kind of what you went right at that. So are those your number one issues, and how do you define conservatism?
Those are my at the top of my issues, business and jobs. Yeah, my dad did. My dad is a conservative, probably not really that much of a conservative socially, but he's a small business owner, and you don't last very long. You're not a successful business owner very long if you spend more money than you make. So, he's been in business. He's owned his own business my entire life. So I got to witness conservatism firsthand. And, it is about business. It's pro-business, limited government, and I think that's what we need. I think we're getting there slowly, but that's So I was molded by conservative parents.
What do you do now, Michael?
I am an insurance broker.
Okay.
I do home and auto, commercial insurance, workers' compensation. So I get to talk to business owners every day. I love it. I was in the oil and gas industry for 5 years, so obviously everybody's a Republican in the oil field.
Yeah,
but
like those subsidies, or you mean in the oil field, like the ones working? Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the ones working.
Yeah.
I mean, and then and I think I was almost 5 years in the oil and gas industry, and here in Fayetteville Shale, and I think we tax sand in Arkansas. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard of.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm an insurance broker.
Well, good for you. Hey, let me ask you this. So, did you go to college?
I did. I graduated at. I started out in Tyler, Texas, which is another, I'd say, uber conservative town, very similar to Conway in a lot of ways. But I went there to junior college for 3 years, and I transferred to Arkansas Tech, and I graduated there, and didn't really use my degree. I went right into the oil field. That was the only thing that was paying.
Yeah. Wow. I've heard that from a lot of folks. It's amazing, what skills and vocations can do. A lot of people can make a great living that way. And I think it's in many. I think more and more people are kind of catching on to that. I mean, there is a place for college. No, don't get me wrong. Now, while you were in college, and I know we're in Arkansas, but gosh, I mean, I can see, I can see elements of, Berkeley and some of that political thought, at colleges here in Arkansas. It may not be as widespread, but were there more liberals? I mean, did you ever run into like a lot of young people that were just kind of like, tax the rich more. Yeah, we need more government. That's going to solve our problems. I mean, did you encounter that while you were in Russellville at Arkansas Tech?
I did, and even in Tyler, I was there 06 through 09, and so I got to experience the change and Obama's speech, which is ironic when you look back at a lot of his speeches in 07. They were all conservative talking points. He was going to cut the debt in half.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody just fell in love with him, and so I think it was the trendy thing to do. At least for my age group, they have us labeled as the millennials, and so it's kind of trendy to be jump on the liberal train in college. So to answer your question, I was surrounded, I think, by a good majority of, free-spirited, open-minded thinkers. But, I would say a good portion of those today, now that they're in the real world working, paying taxes, they probably have a different outlook on things.
Yes, there you go. That's exactly right. And that's what happens. You start to pay those taxes and you realize, wow. I mean, I had a conversation with a guy one time who had just started working at a high school. He's working at the place I was at, and a lot of his friends, they were on government assistance. And when I showed, I said, give me your pay stub, and we went over, and I said, you're paying this money in part so that your friends don't have to get a job. And to see that sink in, who are able to work adults, it was pretty incredible, and it really changes your entire perspective. And when we're not talking about truly needy, we're just talking about folks that need to get a job. Let me ask you this.
Yeah, able-bodied. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Michael. So, have you ever listened to my show before?
No, I haven't actually. I do listen to Dave Ellswick's program from occasionally.
Yeah.
At 96.5, but there's not really a good radio station that I have access to. I think maybe the AM channel.
Yeah, the 610 AM KRV. Yes.
But I've heard of the program for sure.
Well, good.
Haven't Haven't really ever
Well,
seen
you
again.
can listen online. You can get the podcast and things like that, and we're so you can listen in the past. You can listen online, Facebook, and that sort of thing. But yeah, and we have plans to expand. We're on several stations right now. We got some announcements coming up here in the next month that are going to be good for other parts of the state. So certainly stay tuned for that, Michael. So, what are your thoughts on Arkansas politics right now? And when I say that, let me set this up for you. We're talking with Michael Banks. He's from Faulkner County. This is our young conservative segment. He's 29 years old. We've got massive Republican majorities in the House, in the Senate, in the governor. Are you satisfied with some of the policies that have been enacted? Are you satisfied that the platform is being implemented?
I am. By and large, I mean, really, when you dig into it, or at least when I look into it, I mean, the first trifecta we've ever had, Republican. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I don't believe. I mean, 138 years, the legislature was dominated by Democrats. We had some Republican.
Yeah, I mean, I think
there,
this is two. So we've had a trifecta now for two. Well, really not even 2 years.
Yeah. What about the?
I think.
Go ahead. Keep going.
To stay. Well, I was just going to say, I think 100 and something years of liberalism is going to be hard to undo in a year or two or three or four. I mean, even if 8 years. I mean, that's a lot of liberalism to undo.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a lot of potential. I'm encouraged about the future of Arkansas politics.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, do you know about the attempted tax increases that they?
I do. I'm familiar with with the internet and the gas stuff.
And the tire taxes. They did actually increase your taxes on tires twice. Raised it $1.
Yeah.
And then they created a new one. So I guess my question would be, because I think there's a lot of opportunity out there to undo liberalism. But my biggest point is it doesn't seem like they're undoing anything. I mean, if they're going after more tax revenue and they're increasing our taxes, that's actually liberalism. And so they're not undoing liberalism from my standpoint. They're actually implementing more of it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and no, I get that. I've heard that. I mean, like I said, I've listened to Dave Ellison occasionally, and I know there is a lot of dissatisfaction across our state. Probably with Asa and some of the other Republican elected officials, and I just it's kind of like coaches in college football. Everybody's wanting to fire Brett Bielema today. Not today, but they will. We'll probably win 5 games next year. And then it's just I think you need to give people an opportunity. Obviously, in politics, I'm not a Harvard grad or Yale grad or Ivy League educated, but I do think that it does take time, and I would say it's probably going to need to start with education, which I am encouraged that Asa is pro community college. I'm a community college guy. He's pro trade school. My dad, as I said earlier, has owned his own business for 35 years successfully, and he quit school in the 9th grade. So I don't think the way that the education system is structured is really, it's a cookie-cutter system. So I think if we could maybe fix that first, because if we did start dramatically cutting taxes and every company in a 3-state radius started just swarming Arkansas and creating jobs, and that's all great, but I don't think we have an educated workforce to supply that demand of jobs, because there's kids right now, they're going to graduate high school. Well, they did, I guess a couple months ago or last month.
Yeah.
They can't read a tape measure.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even know how to balance a checkbook, but they can tell you about Beowulf.
Yeah.
Or Macbeth or some of these other deals that you'll never make $1 at, knowing stuff in your life.
Going all anti-literature on us, Michael. Beowulf.
Yeah, well,
oh, that's fantastic.
It's not a bad thing. Education's not a bad thing. we just have.
Yeah, reading
that's another
Shakespeare's
thing
not going to build.
encouraged.
I would say reading Shakespeare is not going to build anybody a new house.
No, and I'm back to
I love it.
Back to I guess challenging the status quo. I mean, I'm encouraged. Asa spoke at my high school. I'm from Hope, Arkansas, as I said, in Spring Hill, and coding. I don't even know what coding is, but apparently there's kids in my high school fired up about it. In a little bitty 2A school in Southwest Arkansas, trying to develop apps, and I mean that's awesome. I think if we could tap into specializing kids early on, instead of forcing them to take this class and graduate at 18 and go to college and do this and do that. Like I was saying, it's just kind of a cookie cutter system, and I wish we could fix that first.
Well, here's my question on the cookie cutter system, because it's all we are talking about government doing this. So if we're talking about workforce training, is what we're essentially talking about, and that's going to be a government program. And so the issue is this is going to be run by the same people, okay, that have just attempted to educate somebody for 13 years, and they graduate. And like you said, they can't read a tape measure. So my biggest question, because I'm a skeptic, on giving this more money, is how do you, how do we have confidence that they're actually going to be able to do it? Because when I talk to business owners, I mean, sometimes they just want somebody that can show up to work on time and pass a drug test, and let the business owners teach, what's going on. And that, I kind of think we're full circle here, because that goes all the way back to being uncomfortable in your poverty. You're not going to show up to work if you don't have to, for food to be put on your table. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I hear you. Apprenticeships, I think that's kind of what you're getting at. I mean, there's a lot to be said there. I mean, I think probably one of the most successful electricians or electrical companies in Conway, the owner, started out as an apprentice at another electrical company. So,
Michael, we are out of time, sir. I appreciate you being on the program, our Conservative Future segment. I really do. And I really want you to go and start listening to the podcast. You can download it. It's on iTunes, on Paul Harrell Program. Because I think the spotlight that we kind of put on what's going on when the leadership is maybe just a little different than I just say I think we're covering the news nobody else is covering. And so I just encourage you to go get the podcast, and I'd love to have you on again soon. Talk more, by the way. That'd be great.
Hey, I'd like that, Paul, and thanks for having me again, and I will. I'll tune in more often.
All righty. All right, appreciate it, Michael Banks from Faulkner County, our young conservative segment for the day. We have to go to break. Back in just a moment.